Yeah, okay, so this is a new account. I don't know. Should it start to its rated? Let's see what happens. 1525. I'm thinking about playing a Jabal, which I've been playing a lot for some reason. Hmm, that's a mistake, that's a blunder, because b2 hangs and I'm also hitting the rook. And now, after it goes knight d2, c4 is a very good move here. Very, very good move. I'm in no hurry to take the c3 pawn. On the other hand, he cannot defend it. There's no defending c3 pawn. So I didn't allow any counterplay, and I took that pawn anyways. I'll just develop normally. I should probably start developing my king side instead. Also thread on the bishop, queen and the look at the queen. And if he offers me, if he threatens my queen, I can actually transfers into a very easily winning endgame. The d4 pawn is hanging, then I can't take it because rook c1 would be a blunder. I would play queen takes and then get this. Yeah, I'd win a rook in that case. Yep. That was easy. No, that's a 1479, so what takes the... I missed something. Oh, no, no, I was playing bishop b7. That's a bloody mouse slip. That's terrible. Fucking lock. The worst timing of the mouse slip. Bishop d7 would have hit his queen right back. And he still, if he takes here, king takes, and then this one still collects the full rook. Yeah, that's tons of material. This is ridiculous. Okay, so this is the 1439, so I'll still attempt to swindle him. He should sack a piece for simplicity. Otherwise, in the end game, these passes become problematic. You can do this. I'm not accustomed to playing with the mouse. I play on the phone mostly. Playing with the mouse is something I really hate. Maybe it's because I'm trying to draw arrows, is why such a mouse slip happened. I was trying to show that I can go bishop d7, and that's he's still losing. Shit ton of material. Hmm. Going pin and threaten some discoveries. There are no good discoveries. There are mega discoveries, unfortunately. I don't want to take and help him open his stuff up. I'll try here. If this then d6, he goes back, so I'll get this one as well. So now I have a shit ton of passes. Yeah, just go back. What do I have for my queen? A rook? Yeah, I have a rook for the queen. Should I play bishop here? Yep. We'll go bishop b4 next, which is fine. Bishop d2 next, sorry. Red b4. Okay, I suppose I'll cancel. I actually need to be quicker with my counterplay, or even 1479 might try and actually find decent stuff around the king. I don't have a queen, he has a queen. I need to quickly push and generate stuff here. He's doing the right thing, trying to create something on the king side. But it won't be enough for him. Defend the pawn and then I'll go here. Stops that. I will create, let's say, this. Did that instead. Should still be defendable. He might find a mate threat if he focuses on the king side. But the good thing is black's counterplay is coming too fast. I basically gave him queen for rook cards. Good, good attempt. Good attempt. Good attempt. Very good attempt. Very good attempt. After this, I'm going b2 and queening. Here take. The good thing is I'm not allowing his queen in yet. Knight c2, queen, bishop takes g7, b2, queen h6, I take, and then yeah, it can get very tricky too. This is a very, very good try. Very good try with this guy. Should I actually go g6? So I still have time to create my stuff. On g6 he might go what? Knight check is fine. I'll go Hmm. I should probably not. I should probably think about this and not allow stuff. Because I can see stuff there that could be potentially happening. But because this guy, 1439, has found a very nice bishop h6, I will reward him very nice if he goes and finds a mate from here. So I'll push, he'll go queen h6. I'll queen with a check. Black queen, b1 or a1. From b1, if the knight moves, I can come here. Okay, so he's going out queen b6 simply. From b1, my check can come to c6. I can actually make a queen, sack a queen, and then make another queen on a1 if I do it. I can make a queen, and sack a queen if he goes bishop f1, and then make another queen. And I cannot put a knight here to stop this, so I'm not stopping that, which is a problem. Adds immediate mate. Make a queen. Yeah, so I should make it on, yeah. If I make on b1, and he goes like king here, then I check, and I go on g6. However, if he goes bishop f1, in that case, then that won't be as good. If I make this one and he goes here, then I'll have this takes. We'll have knight takes. King here. Okay, I think I'll just make here. I can sack. A queen. Make another queen. And takes. Sack the queen. Make other queen. Hero got g2. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Or knight takes. Knight takes. Bishop takes. Knight takes. King h8. Queen h6 is the mating threat that won't be possible to avoid then. You do knight check. This is interesting. Because of this I have to do. Hmm. So on knight check, he's going there. He's going Yeah, okay. He has to go to h2. Then I can take this. Knight takes king. Yeah. Then I can take this. And knight takes king h8, queen h6. I will have queen takes e5 with a check. Very nice by this 1479 guy. He found that. Oh, this is still working in the same fashion because it's check. I'm gonna take on e5. So take. No, this should not work. This cannot work. So check. If he goes f4, then I'll have rook check, 3, and a check. Yeah, I have not too much material. Way too much material. I can sack everything. So defense. So his stuff is not working. That gives me too much defensive liberties. But marvelous attempts. Marvelous attempts with the bishop h6. Marvelous attempt, nevertheless. And this is the thing I can just. I don't have to. I can, but it is a 10 plus 0, so I have to check. So, 2, 1. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the thing is, I got too much material, otherwise the creator was level 5, yes. Yeah, so this is a straight out blunder, and c4 is just one sided affair. After that, now this is the passer. How strong my passes were in this game are a very good example to teach the strength of the connected passes to students because I basically gave him queen for rook odds, but with those passes also in my favor. So, oh, my video is not on. Let me on the video. Um, Video capture device, remove, add source. Okay. That should do it. Yeah, it's a common mistake for some reason. People keep doing it at the beginner level, of course, that they play bishop out too early and hang the b2. And then here c4 is a very important move. c4 makes the game completely one-sided affair. And yeah, here this check is not really working because simply bishop d7. And what are you gonna do? If you save the queen, I'll take this anyways. And that would be close to, like, I can even take this, take the queen, and then take the f4, and that's way too much material for the queen, even if I wanted to, but even if not. And if he does this Saka rule to, but the same thing is still there in the position that whatever took on c1, it's gonna get fought with the knight. So that's again way too much material for black. And I was trying to draw an arrow that I have bishop d7, so this does not work. And in drawing the arrow, I played this, which is like the best, best way to, best thing. Down a full queen for a rook. But then, as we saw here, I got the a2 pawn. Now this last bit of pawn on the queen side was very important for white to be this to at least have to make it a little bit slower. My avalanche, but what happened is he lost that, and he's slower in creating his own play. Now here I should have done this, and I get back. I got a rook. The situation will be I'll have a rook for two pieces, but these are the deciders. Nevertheless, yeah, now he's starting to realize that that's where White's play is supposed to come from. He cannot, even if he wanted, it will be very hard. And that's why I said that here the best practical thing for him to do would be to sack here, get rid of the pawns, and then exchange pieces, some pieces, make it easier to win. He didn't do that because he doesn't realize what's coming and how strong it is that's coming. Of course, objectively white is better, but yes, he's a queen for rook. But practically speaking, pawn avalanches are not easy to deal with. And now I realize that he has figured out that kingside is where his play will come from. And I do realize that if he started, as I was saying during the game, if he started creating stuff on the king side, he will be successful in creating serious threats that I won't be able to defend. And that is very correct direction. That's why I'm really now trying to speed my attempt of counterplay. So I get the pawn all the way to a2, hit the queen, defend this so that I can go knight c2 next. The problem with now going knight c2 right now would be that I lose this. So that's why I have to play this. He goes, yeah, I offer an exchange of the knight, but he plays, I'll take the bishop. It is fine. Now, I had tried to be my fastest in creating counterplay, and I have now simply knight c2 is after that. It's not going to be. He's not going to be able to hold on the queen side unless he generates something very immediate, and that is why this is an absolutely beautiful move. It's a great move, understanding the situation of the game, the speed in which he needs to generate counterplay, and also very nice idea because like I said, if he generates threats on the king side, I'm in no position to defend. He's now simply threatening this, and now there's nothing. I have no way to defend it. If my rook was somewhere else, then maybe bishop f8, but even bishop f8 fails because simply because knight f6 and then queen h7 would be made. So this I could see coming, that any kingside ideas would make it very difficult for me. So I cannot take that bishop, and that's a fantastic move, which again makes the game very double-edged now. I have to be again quite fast in creating. And that's what happened. The game turned a race if I will queen and then be able to come back and defend, which I was able to do because of some which he made a bit easier. Like all this he's doing is correct. The bishop takes g7. I have to go here. Good thing is my bishop is currently defending g5, queen g5. Otherwise I would be mated before I could queen. And he stopped that right now. So now I have to do everything with checks. So first I queen, and that's the good thing about queening on here versus here. On b1, if he did bishop f1, there was nothing. I don't have time to move the knight. I mean, I can move the knight. No, I cannot because queen d5 is check. Until now, it wasn't. So I don't have time to move the knight. The knight has to move with the check so that then the queen can come to g6 and defend. That's a good idea of b1. But the problem is I wasn't getting that because of bishop f1, and I cannot move this knight with the check. And I'm getting mated right next. So that's why I have to queen on a1. My idea was now there's an idea for me. There's a way for me to break his bishop f1 idea, and that is I'll sack my queen. I will sack the queen once and then make a queen again. So now his king has to go to the second rank, allowing me to move this knight with a check, which is what happened. And now if he goes back to the first rank, regardless of where he goes, knight f3 will pick the queen. So he has to go to here, which will also pick the queen. So basically this was his only move. And now I have to take so that because queen g5 is coming. And here I assume that this is the idea. This was the idea. And now I have no defense of h5 except I can give a check. And the good thing is that I still cannot defend this really, by the way. I mean, I can with... Yeah, I have to give it my queen. I cannot really defend it otherwise. There's no way. So the good thing is, although that I was seeing like rook here, and if his king ever comes up, then this is mate. So that was good. And other than his king going up, like this is taken, this is mate, this is taken. So he has either this or those. And then I was feeling that yes, I should be able to mate this way, or just queen g2. Yeah, if f2 is the best, then this, yeah, and I'll be able to play with checks. I can give a check. You can take the knight back, check, check, and then mate. So this game got very interesting after I now slipped my queen. That's the best start to this account. That was the first game of this account. Yeah, let's not do 10 plus 0, let's do 10 plus 5. Or anything with increment. Because in explaining, I got low in time. This is another question mark. He's also new account. Joined 1 minute ago. They're making new accounts play new accounts. Now that's not good. I should have maybe played some bullet on my phone before playing on stream directly. Because that would have given some. This is by the way not a good move, but he's trying this nonsense that he will do, and if he is using assistance, then he will be able to beat. That doesn't work, but it will um, if you start playing all the best moves from there on, because it's not easy to. It has some practical difficulties to defend, but objectively, of course, it's dead loss. Knight b6 is good. Hit the bishop. Open e6. Defense in e6. So whenever I go h6, he will sack on f7. That's his big idea. And if I go c5 first, he will play c3 instead of taking. And if I take Then he will take via this way, I'm assuming. No, he will take with the knight, okay? Then I'm going h6. If you want to sack on h6, you can sack. Okay, yeah. So after I go h6, now he's going to sack on h7. And the reason he's not taking is because they want to play their knight to e5 in these lines. However, what if, yeah, this is something I've never tested. What if I don't even go h6 and he's aiming everything towards playing that and I don't go h6? So if you want to do knight f7, do it without being enticed to. I'll just defend this. Screw you. Now 95 forces me to cancel, kind of, which I will. I will cancel. Then 95 queen h5. So yeah, actually, white does have a lot of attacking ideas there. I guess I'll just have to walk into it. Because objectively speaking, I haven't done anything wrong, so objectively it should still be better, very much playable at least. It should be better actually. But the thing is, about these positions, one wrong step and they get to play all the ideas. The opponent has left the game and then came back. Okay. Yeah, I don't. I should have actually played some bullet with it first. Because now they're playing me with someone who joined me just 4 minutes ago. Right, this is his first game. Yeah, this can never in a million years work. So if I take, then you're gonna take with the knight and then bring the other knight to g5. That's the idea. That's the big idea. Rook takes. Okay, no. So this is just someone. Is this casual? No, this is rated. It's just someone trying to make. Yeah. Yeah. That's a seven. That's fine. He's given too much material. He has to pick up a rook. That's a seven. Not a problem. I'm going with my queen here. And if what he'll do is try to do this or something like this. Then I'll force him to take a rook. Queen h5. My knight f6 is defending h7, and my this rook is defending f7. That's just horrid. So he's down a piece, and these are his pieces, and he's trying to attack. So now I'm threatening take and take. Oh, take and take. Oh, I should have gone knight here. Then I'm threatening to take and take. Because now I made the threat a little bit too obvious. At g5 is even sneakier. I don't need to do anything, I'm just winning automatically if I do nothing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm thinking about these sets. Push king f1 or king e1. Yeah, just to return the favor. I don't like him playing down that much material. That's no fun. What if I do something unnecessary and stupid like rook f4, bishop f3, rook here, some discovery with the knight, rook takes. I should move my queen so I can move the. I can also go g4, g5 quite simply. G4 and take his bishop. Then d3, g4. Yeah, actually. He has lost my respect, so I'm not afraid to push the king 5 pawns. Yeah, I need to get my rating. Um, Somewhere around, let's say I'll get it around 2200-ish. Because from there, the games are not too high quality that they lose their instructive value, and they are not too low quality either. Oh, he's taking there, he's taking with that. That is just, that is just amazing. So I'll do this and take this to do this. The guy's down a piece because he sacked for an attack, and this is his pieces. That's not how you attack. Knight d5. Hello, Cloud Bong. Knight d5. Knight into d5. Oh, sorry, I think you were speaking around some time earlier. Oh, now I want my knight here. Get some folks in. In the previous game. In the previous game. Oh, yeah, previous game was fantastic, man. You were there during the previous game? Okay. Previous game was fantastic. I gave him basically queen odds. I can get my way around to f2 with 96, 94. He is going queen d3, but he doesn't have good entry square with queen d3. He's not threatening anything. So I don't care about queen d3. He can also go queen d2. Look at this. But hmm, that's fine. Now I'm also, by the way, threatening this moving because if this moves somewhere random, yeah, he's trying to get this. If he moves somewhere random, then this was a threat. G4, yeah, G4 is indeed a move, but I wanted a knight in G4 to get this to, beat able to check. Now I think, now I think I'll do D3 is to open this up so that after G4 I will have this blockade or maybe knight here. Hmm, weird. I don't have a flashy way to end this. Maybe rook takes f3. Oh yeah, rook takes f3. Rook takes f3. Rook takes f3 is good. I have d3 check. After that, I'll not calculate it. I'll just leave it. He has no checks. He's not in the light square. He will have a check if I move the knight on g5. But he doesn't have any checks right now. So I can just go d3, and the discovery will be the end of him. Am I missing a check? No, there's no check. Yeah, I just made a new account, so they're pairing me with these guys. In the previous game, knight takes d5. Yeah, it was tough. In the end, tough in the sense that it was very move by move. One slip and white would have made it black. Will I stop it? What if it did queen f3? Queen f3? This is f3. Will it stop it? Will it stop it? Oh, queen f2 you mean? Queen f2. No, queen f2, then he gets his queen pinned. Then he will take here. Hmm. I will push and try the queen, but yeah, actually, queen f3. Queen f2, I'm probably going to take and queen somehow. Yeah, if queen f2, let me open the analysis board. Queen f2 is what you mean, right? Yeah. Queen f2 might stop it, yeah. Queen f2 might stop it. I don't have anything after that, but I will get his rook also. Because I'll take, and then just push. And there's no way to stop it. Like, the knight is defending, so this won't help, because he still has to give it the rook, right? And then I'll play a bishop up, and he cannot take the knight. So nothing else. That's the minimum I have. I would of course have tried to look for something flashy, but I don't think I have. Oh, queen f2. Yeah, no. There's no way to make this work because to have the pin on the queen, I have to move the knight, and if I move the knight, I don't have the g to square. Okay, okay, I'll play another 10-5 before they get me some decent plays. I think they will start playing decent around 1800, 1900, 2000. That will be of instructive value. This is 1683, joined 4 years ago, 1245 bullets, 8000 games. Yeah, I trust it. What should I play? Do you have a suggestion? E4. Alright, let's play E4. Now, do I play the knight f3 or do I play with the Danish ideas? F3. Knight f3. Okay, he's playing the Russian. I'll play the three knights. The Petrov defense. Three knights. Oh, this is, I think, not called exactly three knights. It's called Nimzovich attack or something. I don't know theory. I just know that one of the things you can do. Theory or opening study, I don't find very intellectually stimulating. Okay. So bishop d3 usually would be a terrible place for the bishop. You're blocking your own pawn. But the point is, if he takes, which I'm kind of asking him to, or prompting him to, and then the d pawn takes, so the bishop isn't really blocking the d pawn because d pawn is not going to d4, it's going to c3. So with that reasoning, bishop d3 can be played here, which would otherwise would be a terrible. Yeah, queen e2 is a good move, but queen e2 would trap the bishop. The reason I'm playing bishop d3 is because I want to play queen e2. But now when I play queen d2, I'm not trapping my bishop. Queen e2 is basically what I want to do. Because after queen e2, I'd be threatening a sack of the knight on d5 because then I win back the material with just an extra pawn. Like knight d5, queen d5, and then I can just play bishop takes, and I'm also tracking discoveries. But yes, queen e2 is the idea. Then 5 might be too long. Says the guy who gets, low on time every game. I don't think it's, yeah, no, he's not. No, he's not. I can tell from the way of playing. Immediately, I can tell from the way of playing if they are cheater or not. A cheater, the biggest trait I see in cheaters are they make all the moves as simple they are versus as complicated they are. All of them are like in a rhythm. They use the same amount of time to make all of those moves, which is not how it works. Okay, he's making a threat here, but he's losing a pawn simply. He's losing a pawn. I don't want to take the pawn. I can go queen e2, but then I'll go f5, and then I won't like it. I can take the knight and just get the free pawn. That's boring. He doesn't have a pin in the end. He doesn't have like knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen e7 doesn't pin because I simply unpin before he can win it with f5. However, he will then castle, and I castle. Oh no, he cannot castle. Oh yes, he can because the queen is defended here. Otherwise, I would have bishop h7 picking up the king, but the bishop is defending it. Yeah, actually, this is not that easy because takes, bishop takes, and then queen e7, queen e2, castles, and then if I simply castle, there is rook f8. I'm not liking it too much. That is a pin indeed then. I'll have to play rook f to e1, and he can pile up on it. No, my queen is defended by the knight too, so... No, but this knight would be gone because I would have taken it. So yes, actually, because this can get me in trouble, I will allow him that. Because that will be instructive if I can get out of it. But he has to go queen e7 here, otherwise he has nothing. I just simply castle. Oh, queen d4 check. No, there's no queen d4 check because knight is there. Otherwise, he would have bishop f2 takes, and then queen d4 picking up the. Yeah, this is the best. This is the best. This is how he needs to play, and I might get in trouble. I might get in trouble. The thing I'm banking on is that if he tries to, he would not be able to attack it with f5 because this is always my bailout then. This is going to be a check the second he plays f5. Oh, yes, actually, that was stupid. I should have castled. You're very right. I should have castled. This is not, this cannot be taken. Simply this, yeah, this would have won us, this would have won us. Um, all right. B7 is hanging, is it not? I think that's just rook. Yes, he can take f3. I'll take back with the pawn. That mere doubling of the pawn is not enough compensation for a full rook. And I'm going to take with the pawn because I don't want you to save your rook with c6. So that's game. He should have castled. And then if I castle, he could have piled up on that pin still. My pin doesn't go away even if I castle. Yeah, so if I... So this wasn't a very pleasant game. There were no fire bets, but this was instructive in the sense that he should castle here. And now if I castle here, yeah, this is not ideal. This is not ideal. Um, the thing I'm banking on is that I'm not never losing it. Because if he ever goes f5, then I have this check, is what I was saying. And if he goes bishop f5, my queen is still pinned, then all right, at most I will lose a pawn or something, right? Or something like this. And yeah, he can take and win a pawn, but that's I already got a pawn from him, so and no, he cannot even do that because he's losing. So yeah, maybe that was not much was there for it. But yeah, the actual smarter thing, the smarter way to play it is come, take. This doesn't work because the king takes. Yes, you are quite right, sir. 10 plus 1. So what should we do now? E4 is 1853 from the Venezuela or is that Colombian flag? I think that's Venezuela. Yes, Venezuela. 854 bullet. That doesn't match with the 1853 rapid rating. That's fine. E4, of course. Okay, we're going E4 every game. I do not play E4 in tournament play. The problem is I know the Caro. So there's a very tricky line in the Caro, which is not something I would suggest for serious chess player over the board. But I will play it here. The thing is, he has to know how to play against this. Yeah. So the best move is yes, you do take it. Otherwise, I'll simply take it, and that's not bad for white, but that's boring if he allows that. But if he takes it, the objectively best thing to do is to take it and be up a pawn as black, and then simply knight d7, and then play knight f6. You cannot immediately play knight f6 because the knight f7 will come. And the amount of time he has taken, see, this is how you can spot a cheater. The amount of time he has taken, you know for a fact that he doesn't know it by heart, or he doesn't know it, yes. So if he had like took a full minute and then found the best move, then that's a kind of a red flag. So he fell right into it. Here it's important to play bishop g6 instead of bishop c4 because otherwise then he would block with this. And also, by the way, yeah, here he cannot go king to e8. I'm also hitting this bishop now. Sometimes in this very tactic, you go here, you take here, and then they go bishop before check, and you lose your queen right back. You have to go queen d2 back. That's not the thing here. He's too much congested. I did not win that much. Well, how much did I win actually? I gave up, okay, 2 pieces. I gave up 2 pieces for the queen. Yeah. Yeah, actually, it is not very pleasant to play a queen up for white here. Um, but he's 1853 and I have 10 minutes, so even when I start getting in trouble, thing is I'll spot it and then maybe try to save it. Until then, I'll keep playing normally. Is it in the C2 pawn? That's the least of my concerns. I need to get some quick development in and use my queen on the back pawn, pinning left and pinning right. Well, right, yeah, right is also pinned because yes, he can develop still with bishop g7, but for that he has to first push this pawn, then this pawn, and he doesn't have the push of that pawn. Here the thing is, if I castle my g4 can, which is fine, I'll allow it. At this point, my highest priority is very quick development. While I am keeping his development down, the queen is very nicely placed here. His knight cannot move, because of which his rook cannot come into the game, and the same thing here. So he only has this and this for okay. A knight here would be good. How would I get a knight here? You can just move the rook upward and then play knight queen e7. So I won't have time then. I'll have this check and I can just take here, right? And then collect the rocks, right? Yeah, castle long. The thing is, for castling long, I would have to um, develop first, so it's longer. I want to like prioritize development very fast because this is about not being up a material. This is about immediately capitalizing active with activity before he can consolidate. If he consolidates, then my job becomes kind of tougher. And this bishop here, and if I take, then he can move the knight, and actually his rooks are connected, so um, that's not causing him problems. So I'll wait for him to move the rook up. I'll wait for him to move the rook up because then bishop e7 block doesn't work. I'll take on b7, and even if he moves the knight, the rook is still hanging. So I'll wait for him to move the rook up to develop the bishop, and then I'll go queen c7 check. I can also go bishop here. What I would love to do is, I think this. A knight here would be excellent. So let's go here. Well, bishop g5. Bishop g5. The thing is, I don't see a lot of troubles for him if I take this. However, if I took this, there is one idea that I would have had is then this check and this check, and he doesn't have knight d7 to connect the rooks because knight d7, the second knight won't be there to defend it. I would get the knight. That would be a tactical justification of it. Otherwise, I felt like he's going to get a tempo to get the rook up, which he needs to do to develop his bishop. What I love about this is not that I'm up material, is because he cannot develop so easily. That queen is fantastic on last round, tying him down. If black consolidates, if you imagine if he develops fully those four minor pieces, two rooks in the center, it's going to be difficult. What is this doing? What's it trying to do? Okay, and now this doesn't work. After this check, bishop d7, and I take here, knight d7 doesn't work. At the very least, I get a piece. But then he does connect his rook. Do I want to allow that? I would have too much material by then. Although what I really want to do is knight c4 and this here. Hmm. Like in a sub, I think I'm new. That's why I have to figure out how it works, and also I think they have like a minimum requirement that I have to first finish. Like I need 50 followers or something. I don't know. I'll have to read up on it how it works. So I'll just go with the extra knight. I think that's enough justification to allow him now to finally unwind and develop, complete the development. That I'm getting a full piece. Then I would be just be down at one piece for queen, and that's not enough. Yeah, actually hate to do this. That I allowed this to come here and have him develop, but there's enough justification, enough reasoning for for knight. I stream around at the same time every day. Nowadays, I started to like 3, 4, 5 days ago. I actually use this to teach my students, which I find is stream is quite a good way to do that. It's very nice. And yeah, so I stream basically the same time every day. So you can, sign me here if you want to, if you're free. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have someone to talk to. So he's figuring out, but he's lost a piece. The only two moves the knight here. He resigns. Yes, so that was nice. That was nice. I can't believe how much you. I would have known. I would have really studied it by now that how to beat it. Okay, I think now I'll start getting decent players. Yes, if you don't play the Carol, then yes. As Sicilian, for example, you would very well know what to do against the Mora, right? So it's not like you would fall for some, common trap in the Mora or one of that, what that Alapan trap. Benoni, yeah, you love Benoni. I had Benoni, a lot of Benonis yesterday on the stream. I love playing against the Benoni. I also love playing the Benoni, but I also love playing against them. Okay, so now we have a 1963 River Shoulders from USA, joined 7 years ago, 2000. Yeah, we can trust this guy. So still E4, all right. We have the request for E4 today. The French. You know what? I'll play. I made a course on Chessable for this so-called Papa Gambit. Now I pray he takes because 70%, 80% of the course is the take. Chessable never published it. They keep saying that. Okay, so he declined it, which is also a big chapter in the course. So yeah, the Chessable kept saying that I need to edit this, edit that, get the grammar right, which I understand. I have to. But okay, so I actually haven't brushed on it a long time. So now this is exactly what the I think they're not supposed. Yeah, they're not supposed to do this. The strongest is Queen A5. I have to figure this out a bit. Okay, so I know the Queen's knight goes to D2. Takes is not a problem yet, and the other goes. So Bishop goes to D3. Yeah, I think Bishop D3 should be the move here then, because this knight will go to E2 because at some point I will might need um, help with the defense of the e5 pawn. So I'll need to go this. For that, I'll need to do this. And for that, I'll need the bishop out early. However, he does have takes the knight before, which I don't think is a move. So in that regard, I should go knight d2 first. Okay, I'll go knight d2 first for that reason. So on knight before, I have bishop here. Okay, I'm overthinking this, of course. This is 1963. All right, he's not going to play objectively the best moves. So I'll allow. What is the push? It's bad. So now it's the French. Bishop b5. Bishop b5, yeah, bishop b5 is kind of misplaced here. Unless, of course, I'm planning to take on c6, which I don't want to. This is an excellent bishop in the long run. Black will castle queen, king side. This is going to be an excellent bishop. In this very chapter, I don't exactly recall lines because it's been a while, but I remember a lot of beautiful tactics. A lot of the time, simply knight f4 and knight sits on g6 with both of these pawns being able to take it. Queen coming in. It's a lot of it's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that can be done with this bishop. So this bishop is going to be excellent. Like this is the one of the reasons I can claim big advantage. Yeah, I hate this. He took. He took. He relieved the pressure, which compromises the richness of the position for both sides. Like black could also have done deeper ideas. I can move it to e2, but then queen c7 threatens knight here for. Yeah, I think knight b2 first then was better. So that now I'd have had bishop here. Now bishop b5, the problem is same. This goes here, and then this would be even worse to give my bishop here because then the counterpart will have now has a nice. So really, I would really hate to play it like this. After queen c7, knight e3 will be forced because of c2. If I'm going to give up my bishop, I'll just develop the knight and give it that way. But he's 1963 with no bullet, 1963, 1957 bullets. All right. You know what? I'll play a richer game, not simplify. The thing is, nor do I want a3 generally. I want to keep my pawn on b3, which is an important pawn because c4 is an outpost. So I do need to keep my pawn on b3. And because of that, then I do not want the pawn on a3. Sitting in a castle. And now I cannot go my knight d2 rock. Which now I maybe don't need to because he has given a pressure on d4 already. So e5 is not going to become a problem. So I don't need f4 for solidifying purposes. I will later might like it for attacking purposes, but then I'll move my knight and we'll see. We'll see. Best choice is bishop b2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I should have gone knight simply, the knight d2 first instead of bishop d3 because then this thing is not there. I mean, it is there. I'll just go bishop b1, and that's where this diagonal is where my bishop wants to be, not necessarily blocking in my rook, but it would have been fine. Now the problem is, like I said, I don't want h3. I have to keep my pawn on b3 at all points because I don't want a knight coming and sitting on c4. So because of that, I don't want a3. And if I don't play a3, I don't kick that knight. The downside of taking on d4 too early before white has developed this knight is in these advanced French structures is the knight can now has the c3 square. But here, um, yeah, maybe actually it is good. Yeah, f6 is the important break of French structures. All right. I'll have to brush up on the skills. I've forgotten everything. I made it around. Yeah, I made it last year. I made it in 2024. I hate this. So two things you can do against f6 is take and settle them with the e6 weakness, then use the e6 weakness to put more pressure on it. But I don't see that happening here. I cannot really put a lot of pressure on it. On the other hand, if you don't put enough pressure on the e6 and have more control of e5 square, if you don't have the control of the square in front of the backward pawn, then that is you won't be able to exert as much pressure on it. He will just push it. But if he ever pushes it, he will get a. Now this bishop, which is usually always a bad bishop in this structure, so-called visually, um, it is providing some X-ray, um, effects on that. on over there. So then it will stop e5. So maybe that's the best thing here. And if his knight goes there, then maybe I will go a3. I don't like this knight there. d4 will be a pressure point, as it always is in the French structure, advanced structure. Okay, so a3 now I really want to do because I am having some troubles developing because it's not having a3. I can go knight c3 to go knight b4, knight d6 and take this. That's the defender of this one now. And if he goes a6, then I have some juicy squares on the dark squares there. Why is a3 bad? A3 is not bad, but a3, the reason is then my b3 pawn is, not having a defender. So his queen can sit here. That's one of the things. The other thing is a lot of the times bishop a3 is a move. But the main thing is after a3, I'm not going b4 because knight b6, knight c4, for example, c4 would be a massive square that I do not want to give. A3 was probably thing to do, is probably the thing to do still. Because I don't have immediate knight c5 because he takes and then bishop is, the d pawn is pinned. So actually he does have knight c5 move even if he wanted because the bishop is pinned. Okay, so what do white want to do strategically? E6 is the point. He did stop me from going knight b5, knight a6 and just taking this. But that would have certainly helped his development. I do need these two squares really, really, really need them. So I think there's enough justification that I have to now go a3. I'll play a3 pawn a3 and b3. You were right. I did have to go e3 in the end. The thing is, I'm not okay. I'm chasing this away from b4, where it is hindering my d3 and c2 squares, but I'm chasing it back to another square that is going to still be a problem for me. It's going to exert more pressure on b4. And if I can like do this, and then it takes knight takes, and then bishop takes. I have bishop h7, king h7. I don't lose. Another thing is e5 might be on the cards, but e5 always now because the c pawn is also gone. Okay, this will be then a new weakness if he ever goes e5. So I shouldn't be too worried about lying e5. So I'll go d3 and we'll have this trade-off if he wants to. Because of this knight before business, now I'm feeling a little bit lagging in my part, my half of the play that I want to have. My part of counterplay. Black has his stuff. White needs to get his stuff going fast. So I'm okay giving d4 4 8 7. After you have already your s7 pawn is gone. After your 8 7 is gone, long term, and especially with the d4 pawn out of the way, then this bishop opens up. So I think that's a very very good trade for me if it goes for that. Yes, now black has to come up with a plan because his piece is also he can go with knight b6, but then there's no ways for it to go any further. Only thing knight b6 does is discourages b4, opens this up, but then this knight is not really good. Other than that, the knight wants to go to f6, but okay, so he decides that he's going to go either this way or he's decided to go b4. B4 is probably what he's decided to do, but I will put immediate pressure here now. That's one thing. Other thing is I want to go this and this, but b4 is a threat I have to deal with. So he's inducing b4 from white so that he can then have a beautiful outpost on c4. Yeah, rook e1 does put pressure here, but I have to I have to see what I'm doing against b4. Knight f4, knight b6 takes, the queen comes here, adds another attacker here. But on knight b6, because I'm not moving b6, so I will just go c5. Yeah, okay. I'm not that worried then. Okay, rook even played. Oh, I have no time. Okay, so yeah, actually, black's coming up with plans for black is also not easy either. That's why French is a very rich position, a very rich opening. You have to really have a great understanding of chess, and you have to have a great plethora of um, ideas and strategies, and you have to be able to be flexible. Okay, so he's defending this way. Now, if I attack the rook twice, then there will be the spin. That's just some random observations. Okay, I can just simply do my thing. Go here and here. Induce g6. Now, my pieces also don't have a good. Bishop c1, something. The point is, the rook is unguarded if the queen moves. So after that, I'll go like knight here. Queen takes, bishop h7, king h7, queen h5, king back, bishop, or bishop h6. Yeah, that doesn't work. I have to somehow get my queen h5, and then immediately he's in trouble. And he is in a position where it's not great. Oh, I guess he's going knight f8, and that does provide him with a lot of solidity. This knight, yes, it'll go here, but I feel I need to something actually now. Use it more the king side, but then I'm also wanting to solve it because I'm really actually if I would immediately eliminate the spaces, and then everything will come in the center. Yeah, that will open up his play very nicely. Okay. Oh, I have no time. I didn't see that. Hmm. I'm a little mentally not flowing today. I'm having to take a lot of time to come up with ideas. I feel this something there with the king side, but stuff has to be really calculated. That stuff has to be played with sharp mind. Yes, okay. Now I think I have to go. Yeah, the rook is like I mentioned. That's a problem for him. As everyone is taught, you must always connect. the rooks, otherwise your development is not complete. And these kind of tactics might be there. If he takes with the bishop after taking, okay, yeah, that's bad. I was thinking ideas like rook takes e6 and then knight e7. Oh, you are playing on my time, are you? You know what? I'll just move. I'm not taking because I feel like, oh, I should have taken and yeah, I should have taken one this. Terrible, terrible. I'm playing like a bloody 1500. Because what is he going to do? That's not working anymore. He's not going to do that. Yes, that is something he can do. Takes. Oh, oh yes, it actually does work. It does work. Yeah, it does work. It does work. It does work. If he takes, then bishop h7 picks up his queen. Okay, that's game. All because this guy didn't move. All of this has happened because he didn't connect the rooks. So this can be written in that chapter of a chess book where it shows you must connect your. You're still playing because I'm really low on time and I might still lose. I've I cannot play with the mouse, and it still has an open bishop which I don't like. I have loose pieces which I don't like. I like nothing about my position still, even though I'm completely winning. I think it's the clock that I don't like, not the position. Hit in the knight, open the queen. That's it. Now it's game. There's no chances. You will go rook e8. I can do this, yeah, because back rank checkmate is not there, because I have bishop f1. You know why people say that the mouse is faster, or they prefer playing with the mouse, they prefer playing bullet and stuff with the mouse. I cannot imagine playing bullet with a mouse. Already with a horrible ping and all that, I keep dropping my bullet ratings to 24, 2500 on phone, but that's because on phone you can, play with the fingers, which is faster. Yeah, this was nice. Yeah, this is a nice game. I can also add it to the what do you call that model games section because nobody at the top level. This is a surprisingly unexplored opening and with a great room for exploration and creativity. It can be played a thousand different ways and beautiful ideas that might look like French tie, but not very much like French tie. And the best thing is the French player hate this. The game that just happened, this is as close as they can get to making it, to driving it towards any familiar structures. Like if they play decline with knight f6, then I go e5 and d4, and then okay, that is kind of an advanced structure, but that's it. In the actual gambit, what I'm actually gambiting is this pawn. Then this is just a beautiful opening with queen e2 and then castle. There are beautiful lines here. Okay, I forgot everything. Um, the move order and stuff. Yeah, this is I know for a fact that this is not the way. I think it's either here or on the next move. They have to go early queen a5 because then they are threatening. They pin the c3 pawn and then they are threatening this. And on queen a5, my course I suggest 92. Well, 92 is kind of what you have to play there. And yes, then it continues like this, and then you go bishop d3. Yeah, you go bishop d3, something like, let's say, b here, and then knight e2, and then castle. What they're supposed to, what is the best, objectively the strongest, which my stockfish found after hours, leaving it open for hours. The way black should play is with b5, and on b5, then I think takes or b5, or I think immediate b5. Then white has to play a4 to generate part of the his part of the um, fight for space to not be completely cramped there. I'll have to brush up on that course again. But okay, in the game, all fine. Yeah, this I didn't like. This set me back. I would have loved to do stuff faster, but this set me back. And yes, a3 is what white will eventually have to do. Otherwise, black just keeps that knight in b4. And as long as that knight is in b4, white cannot really generate much. These two squares are crucial. The bishop and the queen are going to be there. So basically it's a matter of, I was delaying the inevitable that I have to play a3 later on. The reason I was reluctant to play a3 is because then the b3 pawn is, for example, if his queen is on b6, if I ever move the queen, then he takes the bt pawn, so the b3 pawn, so my queen is stuck defending it. So it's a pawn then that will further always need a defending, and I can never play pawn to b4 because then black generates good counterplay with the c4 square. Yeah, f6 is the way to generate counterplay. And you see already the engine is liking it. +9 is +0.9 is means that, yeah. And then it was evident that even though he has got his knight in b4 for quite a while, he made me waste time. He still is not very flowing with his piece placement. He's still very cramped, very confused, what to put where, which side to play, what squares to play on, what thing to go for. It is confusing. And yes, g6 is inevitable. He has to play it sooner to get another square for the pieces. He's not realizing that f6 is the square that his all the pieces are fighting for. And that is a trait that happens when one side is cramped, and French has a tendency to get cramped. And when you're cramped, your five pieces will fight for the same square. They all want to be on that square. His knight wants to be here, then he can come to e4 and stuff. So g6 and bishop g7. Now that vacates f6, so his knight can come there. Otherwise, this knight got stuck. And I never push my b4 pawn. Otherwise, this knight gets very happy. b6 and c4. So it was very important for white to keep this pawn on b3. Rook given was very good, hitting this, and that is not a good way to defend it because now always the theme of this is there. And yeah, I just played rook c1 because I felt like there is something here, but I said, okay, I'll just play the rook against this undefended knight and then just give him a move because I felt like it is very hard to play black. And indeed, immediately he blundered. And yeah, here it is really stupid of me. This can simply win a piece. Yet I don't have A blunder in my computer analysis, just an inaccuracy, and this is not even the inaccuracy. So, am I missing something? No, that is it. Probably what I played is also winning, is why he's not giving it a blunder. Yeah, and this again, a lot of tactics, a lot of tactics, a lot of tactics. He loses the queen, and there's no good discovery. So he's losing the bishop too. No, he can actually do this. Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's over. That was a nice game. It was a nice game. It's a really nice game. I have to brush up on that course. It has. I made I think 150 variations. Okay, 10 plus 5. I never liked the fianchetto. You mean in the particular the fianchetto with b3? Yeah, it's not natural. It's not natural at all. You and also by the way, in the actual particular the main lines, you place your queen on e2 with the bishop and f1. Wrote a full page that I how much I understand that how much unnatural it feels to play like that. But once you get used to it, once you understand it, then you start to see that oh, it is different. It's also weird for black. That's the thing. It's also very weird for black to play against it. I know because I play the French. So it's the thing is that black is they don't know what to do against it. Like it just happened. Even though this was a very familiar black structure, he did the natural black things like f6 pawn break and all that, but he wasn't able to do much. Okay, now I'm playing a 1901. He played d4. What shall I play? e5. E5. Okay, I hate playing e5, but I'll do it. The England. Okay, it's nice actually. I don't see why it gets so much hate, but yeah, this is probably why. They're not taking on d6. If they take on d6, then yeah, it's reasonable. It's reasonable. And if they put a bishop on f4, then I pretty much have to take. Otherwise, I get nothing. Yeah, that is horrible. Now it's horrible. Okay. Hmm. It's maybe if it was bullet, I could have tried stuff. Should have played. You should have played bishop c5. Oh, I I'm not aware of that. I thought that this is the gambit that you immediately give the pawn back. If they take, then it's good. Yeah, you're right. If I played bishop f5, then I would have had stuff combined with if I could get a knight here. I can still go bishop c5, but it won't be as effective now. He will go here. If I go d5 and then go bishop d5, that won't be as effective. I was looking at um, d5 to d4 and then getting something. There's nothing there. There's nothing concretely. There's nothing concretely there. And now the problem is that I cannot just leave it here like this. He will take next move. And I don't even have lead in development to show for it. So I'm just gonna play it down. Okay, I don't understand why these guys' bullet rating is so low. 1 year ago, 102 games. Mm. You know what? All right. Yeah, if I have a bishop on c5, then I would know how takes, go knight x6, and if he takes, then bishop here. And I get the queen. But that's just dreaming. Yeah, e3 is good. E3 is solid. This guy is solid. E3 is the best move. And this is not a problem because simply I don't even have a queen out way. Okay, we'll just then go full full crazy. Is he going f3 in that case? If I got this, isn't his knight pinned? His knight is pinned, but the bishop can still move. They can still take with the bishop. But if he takes with the bishop, I'll actually take with the queen. If he does it right now. Because then after takes. No, actually, I'm still down on exchange. I thought that I would get something back. But then his knight and his bishop both would be hanging. And I can only take one at a time. So yeah, we have just gone completely into it. Now, you're objectively losing, but yeah, that is the best thing because if you took here, then I would have this way to come out. I still have 25 and I take on g2. And that's the best basically thing I can do here, practically speaking, is to really complicate it. But I can see that I'm the one who's gonna get fried. Mm. Now I'm hitting g2, and I'm also, by the way, threatening c5. Yeah, I think the sharpening worked. Well, let's c5 then. Oh, did I have it earlier? Yeah, now I have it. Or did I have it earlier? No, because my knight is there. Yeah, now I have it. Oh, here. C5. Yeah, actually, I have it right here, don't I? Yeah, here it's even better. It's even better. Other than I'll attack this, and then go C5. Yeah, complicating stuff. But otherwise, black was dead lost. Not dead lost, but it was hard to conceive where the compensation, a shard of compensation, is. Oh, this is a good intermezzo. I hit the rook. I take g2, hit the rook. And if it takes knight takes, then I take with a check, king here. That would be mate. But he's going to take with the queen because that's a check. I do have g6, but then he can simply draw back. But no, then I take this. If I go g6 is there anyway, he can Defend the bishop? No. There's no way he can defend the bishop. He cannot move his queen anywhere that can defend the bishop. He doesn't have moves like knight takes to go something like that because he sounds covered. So there's nothing. There's no intermezzo. So I just get the bishop. But is that the best thing? Because after the queen f3 takes, queen takes, but then rook takes. Let me check. Yeah, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It is getting crazy. Bishop is with a check though. Yeah, he's gonna take bishop with a check. Yeah, the thing is, I'm tempting him to move the. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Yeah, move the knight somehow from here so that I can deliver mate, but that's not gonna work. This is way more tempting to take with the queen, which is a check. And after that, this is not available also because his knight will move with that also with a check. Also, he can just save the rook after that. So g6, queen s here, take, take, or knight takes. Because if knight takes, then maybe I can do this. Then, yeah, yeah. Like I can find some, defense in the center. My king is not going to get mated in the center if I manage to run here. That much I can see and feel. So yeah, I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to think so much. I'll calculate everything before. we'll just we'll just see when it happens. We're gonna do so because knight is pinned to. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If the queen takes, yeah, if the queen takes, he's gonna take knight. Knight takes, and then I'm thinking if I can get away with queen b2, knight check, king up. I don't want to let him cancel because after that, for a good while, then piece count won't matter. Who is up a piece, who is down a piece. If he cancels and he's safe, then he just has single. He has a one-sided play. I'll still need to find solace for my king. So that is something I generally don't want to do is allowing the castle. That's why I was so tempted or more inclined towards taking here, then even castle. King side and then even castle. Queen side either because my rook is there and it still has to get the knight out to castle there. He actually has this intermezzo, doesn't he? No, this. It's streaming bishop before. Oh, nice. Yes, bishop before. Bishop check. F4. F5, sorry. Yeah. No, but then F5 is then he has a move. Then he has a move. However, C5 is still there. However, after C5, I think he has this intermezzo. The intermezzo is there in the air. Bishop before, if queen here, f5. He cannot really move the bishop. If he moves the bishop, then I just take on g2. Oh, but after f4, the thing is, he moves and defends the bishop. But then, like I said, this is there. This rook is also, yeah, this position is not for 10 plus 5, man. I'll just take it. I'm very sure that taking is the best here. I'm not very sure, but I think taking is the best here, unless I'm missing something. If queen takes, then rook takes. There's no check other than queen there. The only thing I'm actually worried about is him castling. Even after I, even if I get a piece or whatever, the thing I'm worried about is him castling. I'm up a piece, but and now after this I'll be up more. If he doesn't castle, if he takes like my rook on d8, then I'll go bishop before check and take on c3 and make him not be able to castle. But he's doing this, then I have to worry about queen c6 check or queen d5 check. But those things I was not worried about so much. I don't know why I was thinking that's kind of the only move. Now here I should go bishop b6. Or I should do this because there's a tempo and there's no more. There's no. There's no checks. Now there's queen c6 check. But then bishop, there is a tempo. But then there's queen e4 check. So this is the tempo to him, but then he goes this check. If bishop here, then he goes this check. I get to develop my bishop and then I feel good. And this will be a tempo later on. But I think this is the way to do it. I have to be careful not to get a knight checked. Oh, that works. No, because he's still down a piece, isn't he? Oh, but I guess he has good enough pawns. Okay, so now, hmm. So this out of this is going c3 or where? I'll first ask him where he's going. Should I give my pawn? Should I go c6? Yeah, I'll ask him where this. If he goes knight c3, then he won't be able to unwind. Black is up a piece, but a good amount of pawns. Hmm, good. He's offering a draw. I'll stop him castling for now. Yeah, It's going right back to before, so I'm not sure if this works. Oh, this is just, this needs to go out. I need to stop worrying about automating things for him and actually realize that he's not at first. That is what we should have done. I'll get g4, d2 pawn though. Does he have a trick? I don't know. Wasting time, which I don't want to do. Time is of time is very important right now. Time as in not the clock time, time tempo. I need to develop faster. Not bad, huh? That's a waste. What is he trying to do? I'll align whatever he's trying to do. Now I need to. Oh, I cannot block my bishop in. He has two pawns. I think I should exchange the right pieces right now. What pieces do I want to exchange? Ooh, yes, that is nice enough. Ooh, I don't have time. I cannot go. I cannot go to d8. That's a fork on f7. I should have gone bishop e5. That's a nice knight. But if now that he's coming forward, he's losing a bit of defense solidity here. So knight e4 is also a threat. And after f8, then I'm standing one square diagonally from the knight. So at least that knight doesn't have check. And this knight is dominated by the bishop, so it cannot jump forward. But what I'm afraid of is the rook entering in. That's what I'm afraid of. So I'll get this with the tempo, and then try to come in, hit the knight, move it from here, and then I have at least my rook's connected. I really need my rook's connected. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Um, Rook b7 will be annoying, but I will walk into it because knight c6 check isn't doing anything, is it? I'll take his knight. Hmm. I have to move the knight. Now I'll bring another rook in. Yes, that is it. Oh, he has this. If he gets this, but he won't get this. What am I doing? Knight c6 check is not a problem yet. But oh no, now it will make me move to where? E8? Yeah, it'll make me move to E8 and then the other knight can come. I'm losing. I'm losing the bishop. Knight check force. Oh no, it's not there because the rook is there. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble because this check forces this, and this check, all of this is taken. So then this would take. And if he doesn't have that, I don't think anything else he has. He doesn't have anything else. Okay, that might be stupid because now if I take the knight, this is a problem. So I have to find something. Okay, this works. Oh no, 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 he has this. Rook take it. Oh, it's also, yeah, it's also check. Next, what am I down? I'm down, but the spawn's also a problem. Nope, this is not a salvageable endgame. I play for tricks, but it is not a salvageable endgame. Trick worked, but this was not a salvageable endgame otherwise. Yeah, this A pawn just runs. There's nothing here. No, no counterplay. I actually still have to be careful because I have a tendency to. This is the tiring hour of the day. I have a tendency to just drop games from a completely winning position. Okay. Yeah, this is not a problem. Why is he offering a draw? Does he think this is a draw? But I'm very sleepy. You want to play again? Yeah, sure. Let's do it after that. Let's do it after this. We both are sleepy. Okay. I'll blockade this pawn and rather than making it. Okay, he wants to go. I'll follow you. So you don't have any checks. Okay, now you do have checks. Now I also have checks. And the good thing is it's queening on my bishop square, so I'm not too worried about that. We'll try to make headway with this. We'll try to sneak in e5. I want him to push so that I blockade it on the light square. Then I'll win it. I'm tempting him to push it. Pawn ending is not winning yet, so I cannot just give my bishop and rook for the rook yet, but I'll do that because I'm not feeling very technical. Yeah, now the pawn. This play is, by the way, very, very bad. The conversion is just horrible. Now it's losing the rook. No, sorry, got to go. Good games, got to go. Okay, you can send me a challenge. You see my username is Gyan underscore Twitch. If you're here, alright, I'll send you a challenge. Alright, casual unlimited. Is this you? Don't you want a like block one, a live one? That's yeah, that's unlimited, unlimited. So that's like correspondence. 10 plus 3. Okay, let's do it. You're gonna play four. I'm gonna play the French. All right. It'll transpose into the Rubinstein. It'll transpose only if you play. Ooh. It'll transpose only if you play d4. Um, that's nice. That's unusual. Okay. So now we have a weird Rubinstein with a queen on e2. All right. That is interesting. All right. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that placement. I want my pieces on certain squares, and that bishop is annoying. So you're going for a very quick queenside castle, and you're going for my throat. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, now maybe I am. I need to be very concerned. I need to be very concerned. Quite clearly. I don't need to be concerned, more careful. Okay, thinking time. If I move my knight, b5 is coming. So that's something I do not like. I can take the d pawn, and my knight cannot be captured because c4 pawn would be pinned. But then a very nice knight appears on d4, which would threaten further stuff. So both options are not very desirable. If I hit the queen with knight f4, the queen has to go somewhere. Not sure that changes much. Alright. I might have rook c8. Takes knight, pawn takes knight. CD with a check. Queen c4. I can move the queen to b8 and the queen would be pinned. And bishop c3, I would take. My pawn is on d4. It's very double-edged. And by the way, if he doesn't take the knight, that might be that might end up being stupidly placed pieces of mine. Rook on c8. Rook on c8 is not bad, but a rook on c8, rook a on c8 might not be ideal. Also, that doesn't solve anything. Also, I might just be hallucinating and there's nothing after rook c8. So this is again me playing for tricks, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. One must try to find sound moves, the best principled moves, and this is just playing for complications. Complications are double-edged. They can turn anyways. They can turn the game in anyone's favor. Don't tell me your plans, Anna. Sorry, well, I have to. I'm trying to hide like the absolute calculations. Otherwise I'll have to just sit quietly, which I do prefer. I very much prefer that, but I'm having to stream. Ooh, 96 minus 7. All right, more unpleasantness to deal with. So if I just say, if I allow that, takes, check. All right, I will take you up on that. I'm the immediate mate, but I might just get like mate in 5. But it's going to be fun to see if this works or if I have defense. I think that's also the principal move because, well, the principal move is to calculate first. Uh, okay, 24. Okay. Hmm. I'm not hating black's position now. Basically, with how the pieces are, where the armies are mobilizing, I think it is safe to conclude I cannot castle kingside right now. And if I don't, I think maybe those pieces are a tad bit misplaced to generate counterplay now if I start play on the queen side. I have to be careful because my king is a nomad now. Cannot castle anywhere. White does have a massive influx of pieces on the king side. So Black pretty much has nothing except he has to create his own counterplay fast before he gets murdered in the center or on the king side. Okay, I think that should be a piece. That does help connect the rooks of white. Oh, now this comes. Oh, now this comes. Ooh, 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 ooh. It comes when you least expect it. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of faces. A lot of faces. All right. Ooh, I think after this in my chats, but oh, there's that. Ooh, wow, there's that. Okay, okay, yep. That's the one I saw, and now it gets very, very, very close to me dying. The only reason I'm allowing it is yet I don't see, only yet, I might see it soon, yet I don't see a good discovery. So, Mhm. Got close. It got very close. I think I'm talking too soon. It might still be. Oh yes, I cannot take it because my rook hangs. What do I have? Stakes, 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 stakes. Yeah, the thing is, if I survive this, that will only be because now Black has too much material. So whenever this happens, one thing that can be done is a lot of material can be given back, which provides a lot of defensive, makes the defensive tasks a bit easier because you have the liberty to give back a lot and still be up material. Otherwise, it did make quite a strong attack. And by the way, I only have. Okay, now I have a piece in a room. That was nice, man. That was nice. That was nice. It was close. Almost, almost. That almost crashed through. Good game, brother. It almost crashed through. Yeah, it's just luck that because I'm seeing Bishop H6 only after playing King of Fate. So if Bishop H6 was working, there's nothing I can do about it now. I've already played King of Fate. So, and not that I had much of an option. I had like King of D8 or King of Fate. It's only a matter of luck that you don't have a good discovery after Bishop H6 because the king has no squares to anywhere to go to. Any check would be made. If you imagine having like another knight that could deliver some check, that would be made. But the reason I was thinking that I could still survive is for any discovery to happen, this knight will have to move wherever it moves. That'll give me the e8 square, and then I was not seeing how you would made an f7. And other than that, a lot of yes, there are no pawn covers, but a lot of pieces are here. My queen is here. A lot of pieces are here. So even though white had a good force, gunpowder, but black also managed to have. And yeah, I want a rook there, for example. That's important because yeah, now I cannot take it. If I take with this, then after this, it's not about just a piece. It's about I have to still be careful. And if I take with the queen, then this hangs. Yeah. So that was very close. Bishop h6 is the bad move. Bishop h6 is the bad move? You had something better? You don't have anything else? Or at least I don't think. Maybe what you have is see, after bishop h6, one idea that you could have tried for is to somehow move the queen with a tempo like a checkmate threat or something, because then my king and my queen are on forkable squares. So then it would be kind of fork, right? Otherwise, you don't have any discoveries, right? You have these two, that's it. Yeah, it was close. It was actually very dangerous. Okay, brother. Good night. This was a very good, very entertaining game. I think when I started feeling good about the position is when the pieces started to go here, and I now I'm very sure that I'm not castling king side. I know that if I castle kingside, then you have a lot of firepower. That should work. There will be some combination there to mate, but right now, the way you have already positioned it, it's a clear red flag for me to castle kingside. So that's why I kept it in the center, and I was not that much afraid of it because of the amount of pieces around it that can come in for defense. But yeah, that was a very close encounter. Great game. Okay, good night, brother. I'll follow you here actually. Oh, I cannot scroll. This browser also is from the browser where, yeah, when you stream, they give you this browser which doesn't have a scroll bar. I'll follow you from the browser on the laptop. I'll try from my main account because that's the one logged in on the laptop right now. Just go on Twitch. And there's Midnight Moi. Follow. Okay, let's go back, find which game started. Loser Storm. Alright, let's play the Jabala. Okay, he's a Queen's Gambit declined there. A6. This guy looks prepared. Yep, this guy looks prepared. Has been done too many times on the knight b5. Let's play the a6 first. What is this? No. Yeah, this is not great for white. Nothing to claim big advantage about. Hmm. I'm gonna go here. Play c3. Hmm. I think this is a move. I'm not sure. Not here because it will take. Yeah, it will take just not here. It's not a move here. If my queen could take, then maybe. If my bishop was on d3, then it would have been a move. Then it would have been a move. But right here, it's not. So just play. He could have just taken with the knight if he wanted my bishop. So f6 looks a bit ill-timed, but I still don't like white's position, and I don't feel white is in a position to punish f6. This is very, yeah, the f6 creating the e6 weakness. Okay, yeah, this guy is has good nerves. He's keeping this knight here, not taking. We can high takes. Yes, principled, but you're losing a piece, a pawn, aren't you? Okay, he will go with the d4 intermezzo maybe. But I'll go with the f6 intermezzo then. Nah, no, you played too fast, bro. You were doing very good. You're doing very good. Played too fast. The 10-5. Now there's a threat of fork, which he sees. Now there will be a threat of, okay, now because they will have fish b6 there. Maybe I should now exchange all the pieces, go into the endgame, place my rooks on the d. Hmm. Question is, do I want to take this off? I can first go. What is this doing here, by the way? I'm never pushing because I want to have good control over the square. This is a tempo. This is okay. This is not a tempo on his bishop if after this bishop moves somewhere because the rook can come and defend. But this is not exactly a tempo, but I'll exchange my knight for the bishop this way. Here has six, where you can take. Hmm. Oh, he's trying to do this. I can go here. Then this does not work because this check. Oh, he blocks. Yeah. I can take here, take here, take here, can take here, take here. But what he's most probably going to do is move the king, after which this also does not work because it's not a check. But I'll do it anyways because I'm hitting the this, this, and this. You can maybe give it up, which I like. Okay. Yeah, he'll move the queen, but I'll play another six anyways. That was the point. I am giving him cluster, a cluster for his otherwise isolated e5. But I don't think that's that much of a thing because it's not like my e-file is going to open and I'm going to exert much pressure on it. I think this is also quite a weakness. Now I cannot place here. Okay, but now this is coming. King d6. I don't know, this we'll just see. 8-6 is not possible because check. Well, collected. I need to get my other rook to d1 and this bishop is stopping it, so that's why I need to do something about that. That's nice. That works. But then thing is, I'm never giving that knight b4 square. So, oh, actually, can I go bishop f7 instead? Takes knight takes king d7. No, actually, that's maybe not the idea. No. Knight h6. Knight h6 hits f5. Rook f8. But then it's also not going anywhere from h6. I'll have to play like g4 or something to get it out. I don't want my pieces stuck. Bishop on the other hand is a nice, easy rival. And if now king g6, then I don't know. Then maybe I just wasted enough because I still will have to go knight h6 if I don't want to go knight d5. And knight d5 would be just a replication. I don't want to push my pawn to f3 because I don't want to give e3 as something that can be forced to push. However, I do have still cover of the d4 square via the c pawn. So maybe yeah, that's still this thing to do. Mhm. This, yeah. Or even here, you can get the F1. It's not that big a deal. That would be bad now to go down an exchange. Not that it should be a bad, but horrible position, but that's just a lazy man's way out. After this, I'm threatening this. What is he doing? Bishop d6. Then my knight is trapped. So I will agree that I wasted the move. But now his king is on g7, where it can be forked. So he still doesn't have, he cannot play rook d8 to challenge the d file. Because if he did, then I would be in trouble. He would get control of the d file then, because his bishop is very nicely controlling the d1 square. This is actually very instructive. It's a nice device to remember. The bishop and rooks working in a way, controlling the first slash eighth square of the open file, and the whole maneuver to get control of a file is quite instructive. Also, by the way, the threat is I check and then this is the fork. But then, of course, no, actually, this doesn't save him because I still take the rook. The thing is, I can take the knight and deliver this check, but the problem is he still gets the open d file. See, I might have just about to mouse slip before because trying to draw arrows. So this check, he will get king f6 is the problem. What if I go g4, bishop takes g4, f3, bishop back to h4? Hmm. What I'm trying to do is get rook d1 in, but I'm trying to move with tempo because then my threat would be to take immediately with both the rooks, and then at last the 97 and pick it up, 96 and pick it up. So I'm trying to get everything with the tempo right now. If pawn takes, I get rook d1, and that's the same threat I showed. He has ways like h6 to um, counter ways. I'm not claiming it's objectively the best thing to do, but it is very tricky, and he has to figure it out. But again, I'm playing lazy man's chess because I had to figure out a concrete way rather to jam this and in the long term. So now again, it's a tempo. He has to move the he has to move the bishop, and now I threaten that. And if he just moves the knight, the problem is I will take, and this is the foe. So I think the only move is h6. When I take it anyways, he will take my knight. Oh, so he's going c4 to stop that from happening. If I move my bishop. And if I go d5, then my doubling of the rooks is of no use. I can take the pawn, take the knight anyways right now. Take, 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 take. I gave the extra pawn I had for this trick. But the resulting position, if the rooks are off the board, she actually might not trade take if I do that. But don't have, hmm, jack, 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 comes in. Yeah, no, I think that is still the thing to go. I can't move my bishop because if I move my bishop, then wait a minute. C4 takes still works after C4. So what's the problem? Or maybe then he will go pawn h6. I'll take it nevertheless. Takes the moves. Yeah, I'm not getting it. Um, I think there's a lapse of concentration. What did I have originally? That's the problem. Yeah, the point was I take, and if he takes both the rooks, then knight e6 picks it up. And if he moves the knight to save it, or he just opened knight b7 for the b7 square for his knight. Because otherwise the problem was if he saves the knight somehow, somewhere, like knight c6 was possible till the pawn was here. Then this check and this is fork, and he doesn't get out of the fork by doing this something like this because this knight takes and the knight is still defending the rook. But the thing is now I have double rook, so I don't have to worry about that anyways. But this should not work because of this. Oh, but then he goes and counterattacks my knight. Yeah, this is getting crazy. Crazy complicated. More than it should have been. Again, I can do the lazy man thing. I'm simply go into this because I'm getting tired anyways. Yep, yep, that is what you have to do. But what happens now is hold on, I don't have this check and pick it up because he will go back to CH. What I can do is take this rook and then go here, force him take, and then check, takes. I have to be careful that my bishop doesn't get, my knight doesn't get trapped. The one thing I don't have is check. Now check immediately. Think about the lines where the knight gets trapped. if I try for stuff. So maybe I shouldn't try for stuff. Now the problem is if I do check and takes, after this I don't have before on percent, and I don't have rook here, bishop here. I guess rook takes and f4. Yeah, I guess that I can do. No, because the king will come up. King will come up to f4. I'm gonna lose in time also. Okay, I have 97 check. Oh, I should have turned the d file. That's stupid. That's stupid of me. He cannot go take it though. He cannot go and take it yet because of the check. Let's check checks. No time, no time. Oh shit, this is gonna be good. None of this. Dan is surviving. If it's not made right now, at least, I have to be careful of this. It takes over this square. So I have to really start rolling now. I need to take this. Yep. Yeah, this is good. Or maybe not because there's a pass up. Didn't allow that. There's nothing on the right square, right? Okay. Mm, I have this. No, I can. Because the bishop can block still. Okay. Now I'm getting a bit. Oh, this is lost. This is lost. Even as sack is lost. Because rook f2. Now I can go and collect this one because this pawn is safe. This is lost. Takes. Oh, oh, yeah, I think this is the only. Actually, you can even take with the king. Is yeah, that can even get tricky. Even then, the problem is he will give a check and pick up the phone, and also he's decent, indecent time. He's making the time. Also, he can just collect king e4 and collect king f4 and collect. He should have gone king f4. Yeah, the check becomes a problem. The check is what became the problem. That my king is also on the far right, can we check? Otherwise, if they reach six, then maybe there were some chances. But right now, no. Any stalemate attempts? No, I just didn't make it. No stalemate attempts. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking one to lose because not a heartbreaking one, but this is an annoying one to lose rather because the the game was played very nicely and White had the advantage over, but then nine. And in the clutch moments, he played with absolute precision, which is clutch moment means right here when I'm low on time. Yeah, this is a problem. Even though I'm a pawn, this should have been. White had great advantage throughout. That much I can tell before the end game. Yeah, I need to keep my rook on the first. Moving it there didn't help. Of course, I'm not afraid of any um, discoveries because I have nothing on the right squares. But yes, I have to make him choose. Do you want to go here or do you want to go here? So that then I can start my own counterplay, which I never got to play. Yeah, now this is still yeah, this is still equalish. If I can like if you can add something like this goes here, like here, this goes here, this goes here, and something along there. Uh, this is of course um, raw, let's say. Yeah. Time, it's when the time happens, it's when the time gets low. Yeah, this is obviously quite clear to me that I have an advantage, but this to conversion made it. This was a very nice idea starting from G4. G4 was a very nice idea. Yeah, see? It's not even, and I could tell it's not going to be that bad. It's not that much of a blunder, even if it is not the best move. I quite liked it. Somebody wants to play with this and then keep the knight here and play a 4, which I understand, but it's not a knight that's like it's not a permanent outpost. Still has 8-6. And the Sastan square is decently guarded. So the king is there, I'm not getting rid of s7. And even then you would have a g6. It's not the Arabian. But yeah, here this was very nice find. You do everything with tempo, then rook d1, not take, which they're calling a mistake. But I did it to simplify. I know it's not optimal, but that's why I was calling it the lazy man's move. Take this, it goes up. This is good. I should not give him the conflict. Yeah, this is bad. And they're saying you should take it. I was not afraid of takes. If take, then I know I can convert this even with lower time. This is what I should not have allowed. And here, this obviously they're still defensible. It's still defensible. But moves like this, I don't have time to to realize whether all of this shit is going to win or not, or if I'm going to get into trouble or not. But one thing I could have done still is v3. But then he defends with this. He attacks this way instead of this way. This way is not a problem because rook takes, but the other way is a problem. Yeah, it was too little time at the end. Too little time at the end. It was nice. It wasn't it was a nice little. Anyways, okay. It was a good day. Today was a good day of